shout out to our podcast sponsor, sportsponsorship.co.uk. If you or your business are interested in making a real difference to the Scottish game, supporting hundreds of kids into regular football, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk and they'll find the right fit for your brand. Well, for your camera failing, the McDonald's are on you, sir. It's a red card offence.
I'll have a Burger King.
Not when the big arch burger comes out, mate. It's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. Are you even going to try it?
Nah.
No, not even going to sample.
Nah. Not at all, man. Fuck them. Fuck those
Just
cunts.
refusing to try. You've definitely tried. Come on.
I'm not trying that shit. No way.
It's gonna be class. Surely it's gonna be a game changer. I think.
Nah. More
No.
like the arch
Just right now.
enemy burger. The Archers. The Archers.
Jeffrey Archer. You're all
Deceitful
cowards.
cowards.
No, I'm buzzing for it. It's a new sauce, isn't it? I mean, this shows how low my life is. I get excited about a new sauce coming out of McDonald's, the Arch sauce. But the Big Mac sauce, the Big Tasty sauce, and now
Big Tasty
the
is someone else.
Arch sauce.
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably just going to push the Big Tasty at the back of the queue though now, isn't it? Like, it's already hard enough to get your hands on one of those bad boys. Now it's going to be like way back there. It's like, fuck off. Like, seriously.
When do they bring it out usually? Like, is it the same time every year?
Just whenever. Like, they go through like the cycle of like fucking world shit burgers, and then they come round to the Big Tasty with bacon, and then it's like glorious for
Yeah, it's good.
like 3 weeks, and then like now I just put like, I don't know, the French shit on or something. I don't know. It's just
the
it's
Swiss
horrible.
stack, mate.
They're all crap. Like, they're all shit. Like, they're so bad. I mean, fair enough. This Archburger thing might be in the same kind of league as the Big Tasty, but I don't want that heartache again.
Go
you
get
know,
your
I don't
shitty
want
Whopper
that.
with mayonnaise on it. Eh? Unbelievable. Eh?
Mate, fucking
mayonnaise.
suck it. My Whopper's
I know,
fucking
Whopper.
incredible, man. It's so good.
For someone who's sunk, probably, I'd say close to 5 figures into the Arches in his life, you've turned very quickly just because they've
Easily
refused to bring
5 figures.
bagels back into their breakfast.
They got the rat back.
No. It's just one thing after another. Like, that's not the bagels is maybe not even the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, it's just not on. Like, the behavior in general, and someone needs to call it out. You know, like, that's it.
What do you mean? What do you mean by this? What do you when you go to detail?
What do I mean by this? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, COVID happens. Shut down. Right. Shut down. They've got the facilities to keep going. Right. That's it. Domino's still there. Delivering everything, doing way more than what McDonald's is doing. Like, they just have to open a window. Like, it's an absolute joke. And then they come back. They like strip all the menu away. It's like, where's your breakfast wraps? Where's your bagels? Like, where's all the good shit? It's away. It's gone. Snack wraps gone. Like, everything's gone. Like, it's absolute bollocks.
Yeah, they said they're
And then-
bringing back snack wraps, and then you have to go
now
in for...
they are. Now
Sure.
they are. Like, I've been
What's
waiting
this-
all my freaking life. Like,
What-
I'm getting old now. Like, these are crucial years of my life. Like, I'm not sitting around like hoping that they're going to bring something back. Like, fuck off. Like, seriously, no
And a
way.
snack wrap is a mini wrap with one chicken select. Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah.
They
But
used to be
it used to be like 99p.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like £1.79 now when it comes.
Yeah,
to
exactly. So you have, exactly. You have one of those bad boys like whilst you're waiting, like in the car park, like a cheeky one before you get home. Like, not anymore. I'm not doing that for $1.79. Fuck off. Like, seriously, it doesn't even taste good anymore. Like, it's fucking
I
tastes
disagree.
shit.
The chips,
Nah,
have, the chips have
gone
gone
downhill.
down. The chips aren't the same. That's a fact.
No, chips have gone way downhill. Like,
But the Big Mac is still glorious. I had one last week. It
nothing
was
wrong with a Big
glorious.
Mac. I'll
Stick
not
to the
deny
classics.
that.
That's what I'm saying. Then you get your fancy nonsense like your Swiss stacks or your
I don't want any of that. But the thing
Spanish
is, like,
amigo. I
there's,
don't know.
there's not enough.
Spanish
there's not-
amigo.
Spanish amigo. That's
You
good.
know,
actually.
I read also they're taking the triple cheeseburger away. That's ridiculous. Triple cheeseburger is brilliant.
What?
I know that's
Like,
what I read.
okay, that's it. Like, no chance.
Listen, this one.
Like,
Apparently they're
that's
bringing
a joke.
a double fillet of fish as well. That's what I heard. That's what I saw on one of those Instagram
You're winding me up.
accounts.
You're winding me up.
Double
Don't,
fillet
who
of
the
fish.
fuck's having a double fillet? Who's having a single fillet of fucking fish? Nobody is. I've never seen anyone order one of them.
I have.
I've had one just as a tester before to see what it's about. And I had this debate with my brother the other day. I was in Macca's on a Thursday night, just got my usual order. and he said he's vegan, so he's like, oh, have you ever had the fillet of fish? I said, yeah, and I would have it more often, but it's like fucking £4.39 or something. They've put it as a premium menu item. It should be a couple of quid, but they price it up there with like, I don't know, even a quarter pounder. They price it up there with a Big Mac. It's ridiculous.
They steam the buns as well. You know, they don't toast those buns. They steam them. It's strange. Yeah, when I used to work at McDonald's, they weren't that popular. You would sell a few, but they would never have any. You'd never cook them. Like, usually, you'd pre-make your like chicken and keep it in this little drawer, but you'd never make a fillet of fish. So whenever someone ordered, they'd be panicking in the chicken station because they'd be like, "What, fillet of fish?" You'd be very surprised.
Oh, I wish I could see your face as you're describing this, but again, your camera's not working. Thanks.
You're gonna have to, if you're gonna put these on the socials, you're gonna have to get some sort of cartoon sketch, drawn up, of me, and just to get AI on it,
AI, yeah. It's called Elon.
AI generated sketch, me looking.
You can fucking pay for that, you prick. Dedicate enough of my time to editing your audio so that you don't name drop your kid's nursery 3 times in an episode.
This is the 3rd episode. It's the 2nd time that my camera has ceased to record.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's 2 out of 3.
That's why we're tin pot, gentlemen.
That's it.
Once the Benjamins start rolling in, then I'll get myself a better laptop than what I'm currently on, which clearly is not up to scratch for this high quality production.
Incredible.
Probably
I'm flicking the V's to you now, mate. There you go. Some of that.
Oh, probably a good point to stop that nonsense and get on with some podding. Scotland. Yeah, it's episode 3, time to discuss the Scottish men's national team. Although I'd much rather we didn't. Welcome back to Tin Pot. It's episode 3. I'm Tom, your host, joined again by my 2 mates, Matt and Andrew. How are you both? Andrew, starting with you.
Very well, thank you, sir. I've got a stomach bug at the moment, so yeah, feeling pretty sweet. Kind of going quite hot and sweaty, and then really, really cold. So kind of rocking shirt and t-shirt up top and shorts down below. Pajama shorts, to be fair. So
nice.
Just as well you can't see them, but yeah, not feeling great. So hopefully this will sort me out.
Not made much better this weekend by the performance at Hampden.
No,
unfortunately,
that didn't help. No.
But nothing a little black heart won't sort out, from what
That's right.
My eagle eye catches.
It's keeping it Scottish, That's it. Keeping on theme, keeping on brand.
Supporting
Blackheart.
Yeah, supporting that guy.
Yeah. Just
who makes that?
Yeah.
Who makes that beer?
Just a really good boss, good leader in the workplace.
Good beer though.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, tastes good actually.
I mean, if you'd like to sponsor a podcast,
yeah, sure. Well,
money talks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can sweep all that under the carpet.
Yeah, probably. Probably best to move on. Matt, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Speaking of Scottish things, I was at a garden centre yesterday. I know not specifically Scottish, but I had myself a tray bake, and I was thinking, the tray bake's an amazing thing, right? Now, I don't know if Scottish, it was invented in Scotland, but it's seriously an incredible sweet treat. Do you agree? The tray bake.
All depends what sort of tray bake we're talking.
It's quite broad, yeah.
Well, your classic sort of digestive buttery base, like with chocolate mixed through it. This one had a cream egg tray bake. It was had like chunks of cream egg on the top. It was very nice. I do enjoy though. A mint slice is my favourite, to be honest with you.
Mint slice. I enjoy a good old fashioned bit of tiffin, just a bit of raisin. Yeah, nice.
Oh shit!
What's he done?
Teaser.
I could hear the glugging of a black heart getting poured there. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, it's gone everywhere.
Oh, he's taking a sip before it's settled as well. You are butchering this.
I'm having to. Oh, carry on amongst yourselves.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt the tray bake chat, man. Get back
this garden centre has an array of delicious delectables. We'll usually go in once a month usually. It's got a good kids play bit, and you get a wide variety of tray bakes and other items, scones and whatnot. But yeah, I was just thinking a tray bake is amazing, and I don't know what you guys like, but you said your classic Tiffin. Andrew, do you have a favourite tray bake?
Tray bake's
bar
fine.
Slice, Maltese.
It's
Tray bake's
fine.
fine.
It's fine.
Too
It's
sweet
fine.
for you, is it?
That's just fine, isn't it? Like, it's alright. It's nothing like...
It's like a biscuit and it's the chocolate they use, when you get a tray bake from like a homemade tray bake, the chocolate is not like good chocolate, it's like that kind of, it's not like dairy milk or that they're going to melt down, it's just this special kind of chocolate that you get in like advent calendars, like the cheapy chocolate when it's melted down on top of that. It's so good.
But yeah,
That's
Easter egg chocolate, that's that gets always whacked in a tray bake, but yeah.
I'm just thinking of a tray bake.
Yeah.
I ordered... If you think about the clientele that go to a Scottish football match, typically, a lot of middle-aged men. We're all in agreement. We've all seen a lot of middle-aged men at the soccer stadiums. Never seen tray bake sold at a game, and I'm pretty sure tray bake is right up the strasse of your 55-year-old Jimmy who loves 8 pints after a match.
Yeah, I had this argument with my parents actually a couple of days ago.
About tray bakes.
About tray bakes and just sort of cakes and pastries in general.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they not sold at the football? I'm like, because nobody wants that.
I think Wraith do a Empire biscuit.
Yeah,
I don't want a snowball. I want Empire biscuit.
Do you see anyone like kicking about with one or?
Nah, not really. You're not gonna be sitting with your Bovril and your Empire biscuit.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Maybe I'm bang wrong. Maybe that's not the type of person that buys a tray bake. Yeah, perhaps it's
the garden centre clientele.
Yeah, no, fair fucks. I'm happy to be just corrected right on the spot. Had a howler there. Not great. A bit like Kieran Slicker. Just call me Slicks for the rest of the pod.
City Slicker.
Man,
yeah,
like
he's.
I heard him grimace.
It was a good segue.
See him, but heard him.
It was a good segue of professional.
Yeah, it was.
Segue.
Yeah, it was a good segue.
Kenny McIntyre be proud of you that way.
Didn't even intend for it to be a segue, but alas, we will move on to the football. As much as our listeners do love to hear about Matt's weekly update on his scran. Yeah, we're here to discuss the two Scotland games. We've just finished watching the Liechtenstein game. That finished about an hour or two ago. It's Monday night, we're recording, so we're going to review that, and I've probably more to talk about from Friday's game. And just to put some context to that game for the two of you, or for anyone listening who's not familiar with Iceland. Iceland beat England last summer, 1-0, but apart from that, in their last 5 years, the only teams they've beaten are Montenegro, who are 75th in the rankings, Israel, who had 10 men, also 75th in the rankings at the time, Honduras, who are 76th in the rankings, Guatemala, 106th, Liechtenstein, 203rd, Bosnia, 69th, Venezuela, a decent 56th in the rankings, San Marino, who are 211th, Faroe Islands, 113th, and their best victory in the last 5 years, apart from that England one, and then the Hampden game, was Romania back in June 2020. So that's who we've been beaten by. And the big question is that the worst defeat under Clark? Matthew, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think it was the worst defeat. They're pretty poor. We lost 3-0 to a terrible Ireland team as well. We lost to Northern Ireland, I'm sure, as well, in a friendly. I think that was one of the most demoralising defeats, really, when you pair it with the Greece defeat, which was the home game previous, and this game. It was just pretty grim. Just nothing to excite the fans at all. Going into the game, obviously, the players are knackered, and he decides to go with 5 at the back again for some reason, because our one winger is still unavailable. And it was just so uninspiring. Obviously, you're playing a midfield of McTominay, McGinn, Gilmore and Ferguson, who are all absolutely knackered, and you're wanting them to press and to chase and to try and inject some excitement, but it just wasn't there. The players just weren't feeling it. It was flat, it was slow. We were just funneling the ball out wide and putting crosses in the box, and I mean, they didn't have to do much really. I mean, you can talk about the goalkeeper, but before that it was pretty slow. It didn't start fast, nothing really happening, and yeah, it was just
So what was the reason behind that then, do you think? Is it just a case of fatigue at the end of the season? Because a lot of those Icelandic players are also coming to the end of the season. Our players are in front of their home crowd. You've got some players that have just won big trophies abroad, wanting to almost be welcomed home on the back of that. Is it an energy thing? Is it passion? Is it Clark?
I think obviously the stadium was half full. Clearly the fans weren't bothered. You'd probably say the players, I don't know if they weren't bothered, but it's difficult to get yourself up for a friendly against Iceland in front of a half full Hampden. And the thing about the Scotland team that's been so good under Clark is the intensity, and obviously if they can't give that, or they don't feel that they can give that in the midfield, then that's the whole part of our game. That's just the main part of the game that's just gone. So if the midfield don't lead the way, then there was nothing really to cheer on. So the fans don't get excited. They can't push the team forward, and then it sort of just gets into a bit of a melee, where it's just sideways passing and slow passing and not getting aggressive and letting them, come onto you a bit more.
So is it forgivable to? You've just said that it's hard to get yourself up for a friendly in front of I would say 60% full Hampden, if I'm going to nitpick. Is it forgivable to not get yourself up for a game like that?
Well, I don't know why he's playing the same player. Why is he playing all these players like that are knackered, and why is he playing five at the back for one? Why is he not trying to think of something else that might work if you don't have a winger? Why is he not playing maybe two up front, 4-4-2, get the ball forward, a big man, small one sort of thing like he did tonight with the two strikers? Why is he? I think it starts with the formation, the team selection. Obviously, you want to play your best players, and they're probably buzzing from the guys that won things in Italy. But maybe it was a game to bring in Miller from the start. Maybe play some of the young strikers to inject a bit of speed up tops. I don't know.
He said tonight that he was always going to play five.
Mm-hmm.
He said before the match he was always going to play five on Friday and four at the back today. So I don't think there's anything wrong with choosing the system that he chose on Friday, because if you think back to the Cyprus game at home, the first game of that campaign, he played five at the back against Cyprus at home. He played five at the back against Georgia at home, and no one complained about doing it then. That five at the back, he needs to practice that. That was his sort of last game against a semi-competitive team before the game against Denmark. I think he needs to try that. Don't know what you think, Andre.
I kind of agree with both of you, but I'm not trying to sit on the fence at all. I think that and correct me if I'm wrong, but the five at the back seems to have been born from accommodating the whole Tierney and Robbo combo.
Yeah,
Tierney was garbage against Iceland. In my opinion, I know he has an affiliation with Celtic, but does he make that kind of move at this point of his career if he's on the way up? No, I don't think so. So I think Tierney's definitely on the decline. There's no doubting he's still a talented player, but I don't think he's worth adjusting an entire system for. And for me, I accept the fatigue side could be a part of it. But you could argue the same with the Icelandic players as well. So I'm not really fully buying that. But for me, you need to get results. You have to get results at this stage, and it's not because I don't look at it as, well, it's a friendly, we shouldn't be too worried. Well, as of tonight, I think it's 5 wins in 22 games. It's 26 goals scored and 42 conceded. So it's not good enough. The form has been poor for a long, long time. I've complained about it to you guys a few times, but with when you have that kind of form hanging over you, you can't be taking any gambles. And to be honest with you, looking at that lineup last night, I didn't actually think it was a massive gamble. I didn't actually think it was a terrible side he'd laid out, or there was any huge risks in there. But I think the formation maybe didn't help. But overall, I think the biggest problem is the the application. At the moment, I just don't think that Scotland are a nightmare to play against. Like we don't have a bad team, but we don't have the best team either. But we should be kind of right at opposition. We should be pressing all the time. We should be creating a lot of pressure. But at the moment, we're not willing to grind teams down. And that game against Iceland, I don't really feel that we needed to necessarily grind them down. But if there was that intensity, I think, it certainly could have been different. I mean, don't get me wrong, the goals were horrific, and the keeper had an absolute nightmare. But he wasn't to blame for the result. I know that sounds ridiculous, but in my opinion, we weren't good enough to win that game. Iceland were fine. I thought they played an all right game. I didn't think they were amazing. I thought their number 8 kind of ran the game in the middle of the park, sort of dropping deep. Haraldson or something. I don't know, something like that.
One of the sons.
Yeah, one of the sons. Anyway, but yeah, apart from that, I didn't really think they were incredible, and definitely
yeah, they're
beatable.
not going to be. Yeah, they're...
No, exactly. And you said that with their form, and that's it. But we're just not the same animal anymore. And for me, I think after the Euros, in my opinion, which is obviously easy to say in hindsight, but I think after the Euros, really, Clark's been on the decline, and I think he's been quite lucky to keep his job, to be honest.
Yeah, this is what everyone's debating now, and of course because it's very fresh, and it's the same way that people were debating it after the Euros, and then after those 3 defeats, Poland, Croatia, Portugal, saying the same thing. And I've always been an advocate of Clark. I've always batted for him. I've always been a big supporter, and I'm not saying this to do the same job again, because my views after Friday were very different, especially immediately after. But you are 2 penalties down against Poland. You are Shea Adams' right leg away from getting that equalising goal away in Zagreb. And then you're a Ronaldo 88th minute winner away from getting a point in Portugal. And then you go and beat Croatia at home. You get a draw with Portugal at home. You beat Poland away in the fashion that we did. Then you go away to a very good Greece side and get a win. Now, ultimately, we get relegated. But it's very quick. People are very quick to forget those run of 3 games. Those 3 games, those Croatia, Portugal, Greece games, the two wins, Poland as well, 3 wins and a draw out of those 4 games. When was the last time we had a run of form like that? Before Clark, it was such a long time ago. And now that we've had a couple of bad results, people forget it, I think.
That's fair, but I do think that it's easy to compare Clark's form with the past.
Falling off my chair.
Oh, that's incredible.
Oh, balls.
That's what the fuck is your chair made of?
Wood, but
is it broken?
Yeah, it's broken.
Jesus Christ! Too many tray bakes.
Too many kebab pies, are they gay?
Too many kebab pies. That's it. Jesus Lord. Well, I'll keep going, but
you carry on.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of comparison to previous form, like of previous managers, but I don't really think that that's what we should be doing. I think that Clark evolved Scotland, by getting us to the Euros, and obviously I hear what you're saying about the run of results there too, but I do think that he's almost been pushed into a lot of evolution, so, there seems to have been such great reluctance to have played Billy Gilmore at times, and even watching him tonight, I actually thought the midfield tonight was class, and Leonard Miller as well was absolutely brilliant, what a player, but there was a big resistance to play him at the right times, and when he did cave into that pressure, Gilmore did perform. It's likewise with Ferguson. Now I know Ferguson was injured for the Euros, but he wasn't even a mainstay in Scotland. He wasn't even missed. As an injured player, he had his best season in Serie A, he was the best midfielder in the league, and he wasn't missed at all. He was quite happy to just carry on playing, Kenny McLean, Callum McGregor. For me, I just don't think. I think he's pushed into how Scotland should evolve, but I don't feel he really genuinely believes in playing these types of players like that. That's how it feels. It feels very forced, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how it feels anyway.
I think the Ferguson thing is just very unfortunate from his perspective, because he signed for Bologna 22-23, didn't he? In that season, and at the end of the 23 season is when we go on to have the incredible qualifying run that we did, the Cyprus, Georgia, Spain, Norway group. And at that point, he's had one season in Bologna. Then the next season, we've already qualified. He comes into a game, 23-24, gets injured just before the Euros. So, and then that's when he gets injured. You go into the Euros, you come back from that, and then he did start to get games towards the tail end of last year. Played in Greece, and he's playing now. So I don't know how much. So what we're saying is, at the time, you should have got him in instead of Callum McGregor, and when Ferguson had just gone to Bologna, he'd only been at Aberdeen. So the midfield at that point, you've got McTominay, McGinn, Gilmore, McGregor, Christie, Armstrong were the sort of main six midfielders that would interchange. And I'm not saying that Ferguson isn't better than those players, but those players were getting results for Clark at the time. And now that we're not, it's very easy to go, oh, well, back then we should have bled Ferguson in. I don't want to go back and forth on the same thing over and over too much, but I see your point. It's
absolutely. I just think that evolution seems to be very forced now. So if he had bled in a player like Ferguson, I think we probably would have been a bit steadier. Is all I'm saying. However, I feel he's kind of stick to his men, if you like, till the very last minute, and then he's made changes under pressure, and the same applies for Billy Gilmore. I mean, Billy Gilmore was playing man of the match performances in the Champions League, and wasn't really getting a shout for Scotland, if I'm not wrong. So, I the bottom line is, I mean, looking at it now, the form's bad. It's good that they got a result tonight. Obviously, a very poor side in Liechtenstein, but I do feel there was some positives, without going on a sort of slating of Clark too much. But for me, I just think, I don't know who it would be, which is the problem, because I don't think there's a big budget there to take on a really impressive manager. But I do think if somebody was a little bit more willing to take a bit more of a risk with the youth and actually believe in them, a little bit more, then I think that we would start to look at an evolution of Scotland. I just do wonder how it will look if we stick with the same old for too long. That's all.
Any thoughts on that, Matt? I
think
seem to be on two sides of the fence here.
Evolution, I think he has to move away from the five. I think the introduction to Doak obviously really ignited a spark in the Nations League games, and Doak was brilliant. And then obviously Doak doesn't play. I think he didn't play in the away leg at Greece, did he? He was injured in both legs, yeah. So obviously the first leg we ground out a great result, but then you could just see there's lack of spark and lack of creativity when we were backs against the wall. We needed the goals against Greece in the second leg. So I think he has to find a way to play that is not five at the back and it doesn't rely on one winger. I don't know how he can do that. That seems to be the dilemma for Clark, because the five doesn't work, I don't think, anymore. It clearly didn't work in the Euros. We didn't do anything in an attacking sense.
Yeah, the five, without a doubt, does work. My only problem with it, and this is my biggest question mark over the whole thing, is when we're one player down in either system, we're fucked. I think, well, maybe not as strongly as that, but it seems that way, because a key turning point was Aaron Hickey. So Aaron Hickey, there's 10 games where he's played 60 or more minutes for Scotland. Out of those 10 games, he's had 6 clean sheets. He's only had 3 defeats in all 14 caps that he's had, which was the England friendly, Spain away, the 2-0 game, and then the Ukraine playoff, the 3-1 game, just after the war had started in Ukraine. And then in those games, he's conceded 13 goals, which is less than a goal a game, obviously. And we've only had 3 wins since Hickey last played. 5 draws, 7 losses, 37 goals conceded, which is 2.5 a game. So when you play that 5, and you've got Ralston down the right, I'm not slagging Ralston off, but he's nowhere near as good as Hickey in either part of the game, going forward and getting balls in.
He hasn't been starting for Celtic as well. You're right. He hasn't even been a starter.
All that does is it tells your opposition everything's coming down the left, so they know where to go. And so that's the issue with the 5, is when Patterson and Hickey have both been out, we've had nowhere near the same potency or the same defensive structure. Because you saw it in the Euros, the right side was Hendry and Ralston, and they got found out so often, albeit they're against much, much better opposition than, say, Iceland.
Should you have changed it then?
But then the issue with the 4, I'll stop ranting in just a second, but then the 4, you saw it in the Greece games, especially at home, the ball was recycled so much between the back 4 and the 2 defensive midfield players, looking for an outball, looking for where Ben Doak would be. And because you're playing that back 4, the wing backs can't get far enough up on the touchline to receive that pass. And eventually they get the ball back. Or you have to go long, and we don't have the players for that without Lyndon Dykes either. So I think with both systems, we are 1 or 2 injuries away from the whole system kind of failing. So I think squad depth is a big problem.
Is that on the manager to try and come up with other tactical solutions when you don't have these players that work with the players that you do have, rather than shoehorning in a weaker right wing back or no winger at all?
I think so. Yeah, I would have preferred those Greece games personally to be with a 5 when you don't have Doak, because we have had some minor success playing a 5 without Hickey, albeit minimal. But
where is Hickey these days? What's his injury at the moment? Do you know the latest injury?
I don't know what his injury is at the.
That's worrying though, isn't it? The length of time.
Patterson seems to be getting more of a shout at Everton recently. So.
Yeah, he came on for a wee bit tonight.
Big Moyes will get him starting at right back, eh?
Yeah, hopefully. Otherwise, he needs to move away and just to try and get some minutes. You know what I mean? But no, hopefully. The thing is, we can't run a system around Aaron Hickey. At the back, like it's kind of like the Tierney situation as well. It's adjusting for certain players to play a certain way. Can we maybe try and look to play a little bit more centrally rather than having, because Hickey's fantastic playing at the underlap, if you like, playing on the inside. Could we try and play a different way? As Matthew said, like it's just it seems mad trying to sort of shoehorn a system in. But we don't have that squad depth. You're right. We absolutely don't have that squad depth. So maybe we need to recruit some more English players to come in and play.
Tom, Tom, just on the 3 at the back, what's your thoughts on Grant Hanley still being one of the 3 at the back?
Yeah,
2025.
Again, similar to Clark, I've defended Hanley time and time again, but I think I don't understand why Scott McKenna, who's played most games in La Liga this season, sorry, not the most games, that's not what I'm saying, he's played most of the games in La Liga this season. I don't know how he wasn't playing against Iceland, but again, Clark, he had his plans pre-match for both those games. You can't read too much, in my opinion, you can't read too much into the starting 11 in either of those matches. What was really disappointing for me on Friday, and I'll end the disappointing shit here because I want to move on to some positives. The most disappointing thing on Friday, and also in the Greece game at Hampden, was it seemed like the energy, the hunger, the drive, the desire wasn't there. And that's what really pissed me off.
And that's what we've done so well in the cup. That's what's one of those games. That's why it was so exciting and so good. So yeah, to see it so flat was pretty grim. And you want to give the fans something to be excited about in this friendly. You know, they've all come out on a Friday night, 60% of them. And you want to try and get the ball forward and get excited. It was just
the
grim.
thing is, yeah, without that form, that wouldn't have been 60%. You know, like you look back, you cast your mind back. You know, there was a great atmosphere at Hampden, like absolutely brilliant atmosphere at Hampden. Great turnouts, hard to get tickets. You know, it's. I know it's a friendly, but if we're in good form and we're playing how we should, you know, then that's not 60% full. Definitely not.
No, but hopefully come September, October, November, we'll get 50,000 there. And I'm just going to try and be optimistic and talk about some positives. So, yeah, we're off the back of a 4-0 win tonight in Vaduz. And night and day difference in terms of performance, but that goes with the level of opposition changing, also night and day. But some real positives in there. Lennon Miller, one to kick off with. He was incredible. Seeing Che Adams get on the score sheet, he's had his doubters over the last 18 months with a bit of a goal drought. So to see him back on the score sheet and getting a hat-trick, something that Ronaldo didn't even manage to do when he played Liechtenstein twice a few years ago. Yeah, a couple of good performances in there.
I thought Lennon Miller was class. Like I thought he and Gilmore ran the show. Like absolutely ran the show. They were pretty much perfect. Like the whole night. I know the level of opposition was poor, but I mean, how old's Lennon Miller? 19?
18, I think.
18, 19. Wow. Like what a player. Like he's unbelievable. It's just a spark he gives you. You know, he's willing to try those risky passes and he pulls them off. He's not afraid to take a shot outside the box, you know, or anything like that. You know, he'll go for it. He's positive with his play all the time. You know, there's not many backwards passes, not many you know, super safe options. He's very competent, you know, as a midfielder, and for a teenager, he's outstanding. I mean, I really hope he doesn't sign for Rangers because that'll be his last game for Scotland. But you know, he was great. Like genuinely, I know I was joking, but he was absolutely outstanding. So that's the future of Scotland there. You know, he's got to be starting. He's got to be starting games. Hopefully he gets a good move in the summer because, I mean, he's outgrown Motherwell. You know, he'll get them a really good fee. But, you know, hopefully he gets a decent move somewhere. Serie A has obviously been very kind to us, you know, so that would be fantastic. You can go somewhere and perform in Europe. But he's just class, like absolutely class. I thought he was outstanding. Great for Che Adams as well, but by a country mile, man of the match, Lennon Miller for me.
Yeah, hard to disagree, but apart from Lennon Miller, any other positives from the weekend of football, Matt, from either Liechtenstein game or from, did I say it, Friday night?
Hurst looked decent, semi-competent, tall, quite
semi-competent, that's a positive.
Quite physical, so obviously when Dykes is injured, or if we can move on from Dykes, then Hurst looks like another big gentleman to get the ball launched to. Scored a goal, obviously. It was unlucky with his disallowed goal against Iceland. So he looks decent. I think I'd like to see him in a 2 again with Adams. I think that worked quite well. I like the sort of big man, sort of another sort of smaller man who can sort of run faster. And then the big man flicks it on, and the other man just goes down the line and that. You know, I think Adams is good at going down the line as a striker, getting those balls in behind, and obviously Hurst looks decent. Who else was good? Yeah, that was about it really, yeah.
Johnston on Friday I thought was alright. He put in some good deliveries.
Good ball for the goal. He looked pretty good. The goalie on the other hand. Are we moving on from the negative, or we can quickly have a chat about him? I feel so bad for this boy. Like I feel so bad for him. I feel like going on tonight's game. I don't know why you would not play him tonight just to get him a clean sheet. Like, because why? He's going to get a clean sheet against Liechtenstein. Surely, like one shot. Like
I just don't think you can risk it. Like I
surely,
just don't.
Give the guy a shot. Is that him finished? Is that him done forever? Then he's never coming back after that.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, he's young, you know, so he'll bounce back, I'm sure, at some point. But
he's never going to get a call up again, is he? Is that it?
Well, he shouldn't get one anytime soon. You know, he didn't look like a professional footballer, to be honest with you. So he was rotten, like absolutely rotten. And he flapped it, and under not a lot of pressure. You know, which you know, with this run of form, is the last thing you need. So going to Liechtenstein, I thought they made the right move, changing the keeper, and you know he was steady at the back. He had a couple of moments that he could have easily made a howler, you know, with the ball at his feet, but he was calm and he was fine, you know. So I thought Duhan did really well, but City Slicker's probably gonna have
don't
to
mess with the Duhan.
Don't mess with the Duhan. Yeah, that's it.
That was my highlight, I think, of the two games, was the Scotland fans in Vaduz giving it the Mo Salah song for Ross Duhan. Ross Duhan, Scotland's number one.
See in the Iceland game when like Slicker caught the ball near the end, the fans were like, "Way!" Like, oh, I felt so bad.
It was like that when Duhan touched got his first touch today in like the first or second minute. The fans going tits. But I think we have to. We're laughing with him, not with him, because he'll be hating life. But I don't think it's as trying to think of the right word, vitriolic, is that word, as it maybe would be if it was an England player. We're trying to do that tongue in cheek, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And as I said, he is young, so you know, if he's performing well at club level, he will be back. Like, you know, definitely. I don't think we're that that would be that against that, but yeah, he needs a bit of a break. I feel sorry for him. He obviously wasn't ready for it, but
was McCrory injured in the warm up? Is that right?
Brutal.
Yeah, injured in the warm up, mate. Yeah, I mean, but I thought it was a bit shit. And maybe this is what the norm is, but I thought it was a bit shit when Clark came out and said, you know, we had to call up Kieran to play even though he wasn't ready. I'm thinking he's your third choice keeper. He's in the squad. To then say he wasn't ready,
I mean,
it puts question marks over you really for including him in the squad, because apparently Callan McKenna was training with the squad, just wasn't named in the squad. You know, he's been training. So
right.
Why have you named someone in your squad that you've quote unquote isn't ready?
But and you've got Duhan, who never got called up, and then Kelly as well, who's played for Rangers towards the end of the seath, never got called up either.
Kelly's injured.
He's injured, yeah.
And so is Xander Clark. We're really, really lacking in options, but maybe there's an obvious answer to this. I should have asked my mate who's a D, but why has McCracken not been looked at to be called into this squad? The Dundee keeper.
Who fell?
He would have filled a hole anyway, that's for sure.
John McCracken.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I actually don't really know much about Slicker's form this season, if I'm really honest with you.
He's not played minutes. Yeah. He's not played a professional league game. He's only played a few in the League Cup, and I think
not even, mate. He played 8 minutes apparently in the League Cup. He came on for 8 minutes against Bristol Rovers.
That's why they're dubbing it the worst debut ever.
That's on Clark. Like, you know, that's completely on Clark. Like, if there's any other options, like, why would you pick a player that has played 8 minutes for the entire season? You know, he is going to be rusty as shit, and he clearly was. Like, honestly.
He was so scared.
Yeah, you could tell. So like he was not ready for that occasion, and it wasn't a full Hampden. It wasn't a meaningful 60%. Game or anything like that. Which is you know, the only saving grace, I guess. But you know, that's ridiculous. I feel sorry for him. I do feel sorry for him. I know I'm slating him, saying he was terrible. He was terrible, but you know. He shouldn't have been in the squad. You know, if there was any other options, literally any options, like he shouldn't have been in there.
I was trying to like cast my mind back to try and think who would be a comparable keeper from 10 or 15 years ago that we would have called up that would have raised eyebrows as much. You know, the two players that I could think of would have been Jamie McDonald around about 2010 when he was in his early 20s and had I don't think played a game for Hearts and had been on loan maybe at for I could be wrong, or potentially someone like Mark McCallum, who again was at Dundee United and was bench warmer. It's the equivalent of back then calling one of them up. There probably are others that are more suitable as comparisons.
I think I was listening to View from the Terrace podcast, and they were saying about Frank Haffey, sorry, from 1961. It's the worst goalkeeper debut since then. He came on for the England game and they got beaten 9-3, and was never seen again. So, I hope that doesn't happen to Slicker. It's going to be a huge dent in his confidence, and I feel really sorry for him. But it's on Clark. If there was literally any other option, like he shouldn't have picked him. Why is he in the squad? Like what?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
What's that for?
It could be to get confidence around the boys, get them used to that. But if he's going to be third choice, and there are better third choices out there for future camps anyway, yeah, there's not much. I get it if he's like 17, 18, and you want to bleed them in really, really young. But
yeah, but I mean, who's our keeper for our 21s? Would you not be better sticking him in? In that, I mean, I assume that keeper has probably played a fair amount of minutes this season, wherever it is. But for someone that's played 8 minutes this season, I mean, shouldn't be touched at all.
Yeah, can't really disagree. And speaking of legends like Frank Haffey of yesteryear, I think it's time to discuss other Scottish footballing legends. We've had enough back and forth about Iceland and Liechtenstein, as Liam McLeod was pronouncing them all night, which I had to applaud a few times. Liechtenstein.
In a world where sponsorship is more accessible than ever, that world exists at sportsponsorship.co.uk. Whether you're interested in making a difference to your local community or further afield, or perhaps you're looking for access to tens of thousands of followers online to push your brand further than ever, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk. That's sportsponsorship.co.uk.
Let's have our quiz. It's about that time. We've droned on and on. And yeah, this quiz is brought to you by one of our sponsors, Nooch Bar and Kitchen. It's the only actually entirely plant-based bar and kitchen in Stirling. So this is brought to you by them. I host a quiz there every other Thursday. I'm there actually this Thursday at 8 p.m. Any hitmen, that's where I'll be between 8 and 10. If you want to come along. But yeah, the quiz scores at the end of last week's episode were 7 points to Matt and 2 to Andrew. So he got a point back on him, but it's still Matt's to lose. Home or away is the name of the game. I won't go through the rules every week. You know how it works by now. If you don't, just drop us a DM. We'll explain it to you. Who went first last week? You're going to have to remind me.
I think Matthew went first and he picked away, and then you gave me a question that was clearly rigged. So
you stitched him up with a good one there.
Yeah, well, it's you to go first this time, Andrew, and see if I've stitched you again.
Yeah, cool. It doesn't really matter, to be fair. So I'll go home and probably get an absolutely ridiculous question. So yeah, go for it.
I don't think Craig Bellamy's ridiculous. I wouldn't go telling him he said that either, because he's quite feisty. Okay, we're going home for Andrew, and your first clue is that he's a Scottish with a double D defender with 41 caps, 4 goals, and those caps all came between 2008 and 2017.
Where's my pen and paper?
So 40 caps, 41 caps, 4 goals, defender, 08 to 17.
08 17, 41 caps, 4 goals, did you say?
Your little brain, yeah. 41 caps, 4 goals for Scotland between 2008 and 2017. Listeners can take a minute to consider their options as well. And viewers, if you're on the old tubes of view. Now,
2008,
Matt, I will say,
2017.
just whilst Andrew's thinking, I'm going to have to trust you here that you're not cheating because we can't see you. Going to have to assume that there's no phones being used.
Do you think I need to cheat to beat this man? I don't think so. I don't think so.
I wasn't saying that, but
While he's thinking,
Oh,
Tom, I
yeah,
was thinking about debuts for Scotland, and it occurred to me that Chris Uwalumo's debut was the game against Norway where he missed the open goal.
yeah.
So which
boy
is
from
worse?
Coatbridge.
Which is the worst debut? It's got to be Uwalumo's, right?
I was going to bring that up, but I didn't want to do Chris like that because me and him go way back to that one pint we had together.
Wait, did you actually?
Yeah.
When?
On an away day with Scotland. Yeah. In my dreams. No, I've never had a pint with
okay.
Chris.
That would have been incredible.
I wouldn't lie to our
I think he likes
viewers.
to talk about it. I think if you brought it up, he would be all...
I think he has had a few interviews about it, yeah, and he just kind of shrugs it off, as you would have
It's
to.
funny now, though. That commentator.
It's the commentator, yeah. He's missed it!
Yeah, that was...
Oh
4
my
goals.
god!
Trying to think who even was a defender about that.
Oh,
thing.
forgot we were doing this quiz.
Take the second clue.
Yeah, I might
Yeah,
have to push you for...
I'm gonna have to.
Okay, this might help you. This is for 2 points. I think, yeah, if you get it at this point. Second clue, 200 plus league appearances for Heart of Midlothian. I'm not telling you the
I've got
exact
it.
amount
Think
because I
I've-
can't be
think I've
arsed,
got
but
it.
over 200 appearances for Hearts.
I think I've got it. I think anyway. Don't remember any of his goals, which might be a problem, but I think I've got it. Possibly Hearts captain at the time, potentially, or well, it's quite a broad time. So during that time, Christoph Berra.
He's gone Christoph Berra. Matt, what would you have gone for?
I think Andy Webster. I don't think he said
Oh,
many caps.
he was thinking Webster.
That could be. Well, no, he didn't go as long as. Oh, sorry. Oh,
Yeah.
did you announce it?
Just gave you the 2 points, mate. Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Right.
I was going to say I don't think Webster went till 2017, did he?
No.
Webster's dictionary defines it as Christoph Berra for 2 points.
Nice.
Well done, Andrew. It's currently 7-4. You've clawed some more back on Matt, which puts the pressure on him. Is he going to go away?
No, I'll just go home, please.
Going to go home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boo.
Clue 1. A Scottish midfielder, 28 caps, 7 goals.
How can that be the first clue? Right? I mean,
Oh, I've not given you the years in which he got his caps like I did with Andrew. That's my bad. Give me just DOS seconds whilst I fire up the old Lappy T.
I'll listen to the typing to see if I can Google his name. I can decipher
The
An
keystrokes.
R,
Yeah.
an S, a T.
Between 2011 and 2019 is when he got his caps.
He
2011.
scored how many goals, sorry, in how many games, please?
7
28
goals.
caps, 7 goals.
Between 2011 and 2019.
2019.
Okay, so what era are we talking? So we're talking...
Talking 2010s, mate. That's the era.
Yeah, what managerial era? Who's the manager in 2011? Strachan.
Yeah, I think so.
Can I have a second clue, please? I think I've got an inkling, but I'd like just to be sure.
This would be for 2 points if you get it after the second clue. He won Norwich Supporters Player of the Year in 2014.
Is it Chris Commons? Is it Chris Commons?
Wrong
I would have thought he'd
answer.
scored more goals.
Andrew, you can get a stab to steal 2 points here and make the scores 7-6. You don't get any other clues, but you can have a go now. Oh, this is incredibly exciting.
Why did I say that?
I kind of caught off guard a wee bit because
I was thinking out loud. That wasn't
wasn't
my
really
answer.
actually thinking. So, Scotland midfielder, played for Norwich clearly at some point during 2011-2019. When was he voted?
He was Norwich City Supporters Player of the Year in 2014.
Didn't even play for Norwich.
2014.
God.
Chris Collins didn't play for.
He didn't even play for Norwich.
Play
What
for
a
Nor-
dude. What a
Did he not?
meltdown. No, he didn't even play. It's an absolute
Honestly.
disaster.
Fuck. The only players I can think of is fucking Kenny McLean, which is really annoying. It's blatantly not him.
If you're struggling with Norwich, maybe just midfielders from that era with a reasonable amount of goals for a midfielder.
Robert Snodgrass played for Norwich, I'm sure, at some point. Maybe twice, potentially, but I don't think he was a midfielder, necessarily. I know he was a left winger. Graham Dorrans, who we had at Rangers. Can't think of anyone else.
Tom giving nothing away with his straight face, whereas I'm
Poker-faced over here,
I'm
man.
screaming down the camera at my own incompetence, you know. My face is beat. I'm absolutely raging.
7 goals. Fuck. I'm gonna have to just hope that Snodgrass is down as a midfielder and go with that.
The poker face is crumbling. The sides of the mouth are twitching. It's...
I did not think I had that.
I was terrified that you were going to go with someone else and then have a go at me because Snodgrass was a winger. Because he's down on Wikipedia as midfielder and winger. And I would class both technically as a midfielder.
2 good shouts there.
2
Well
points for Andrew, and he goes up to 7-6, only a point behind Matthew.
Keeping the listeners intrigued, me, I am, by throwing it away on purpose, you know? To try and keep it close. You know?
If the listeners and the viewers knew you whatsoever, they'd know that you're the most competitive man in the world and that you'd never do that. So
I got in a head when I was...
Writing it down has definitely helped me out a wee bit.
yeah, what a comeback. Any last words before we end the episode?
Suck it, Matthew.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed. I can't deny that.
It's so embarrassing. I can't believe you didn't get that.
Embarrassed.
I'd be so embarrassed.
I'm slapping my
Oh
face.
my
right
god,
there.
so embarrassing.
This is all I've got, you know, so to lose a home question. That's all I've got. Got
So
another
far,
week.
Got nothing left.
We've had 5 goes at a home question and only 1 go at an away question so
Give
far.
me
out of
another
3
one.
episodes.
Give me one. To
I
go
would
with.
never get an away question.
It's like Football
I
Manager.
don't-
You can't leave on a defeat. You got to keep playing until you get one. You got to win. So give me one more. Come on.
That's what they say at the roulette wheel as well.
Yeah, I know
Let's
that.
walk away. And on that note, yeah, time to end episode 3, the big Scotland national team chat. Yep, we'll be back here next Tuesday. That's when the episodes come out on YouTube and on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, anywhere you get your podcasts. We are on Instagram and TikTok. The handle there is @TinPotPod. Please give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, whatever you like to do, because that will help grow the channel. And until next week, Matthew, Andrew, I bid you adieu.
I'm waving bye. Bye-bye.
Fair bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.